that was a 30-minute conversation that made us an extra 20 grand.
Yeah.
I don't know many people that can have a conversation in 30 minutes and make 20 grand. So don't be afraid to have those conversations, because the worst they'll say is no, and you're still making your first 10.
Yeah.
But the best is that they could renegotiate and you might make more money.
Yeah. You say multiple 7 figures in assignment fees. Do you have a ballpark of what that looks like?
I was supposed to do the whole thing, because that's what real business people, that's what real entrepreneurs in America do, because that's what we're sold.
Yeah.
That is the biggest bundle of curse or not bullshit that we are ever sold, because this industry, any industry, you look at so many big companies, it's all partnerships, it's all collaboration. And if you just stop trying to fight against that belief and you get out of your own way, you start to accomplish more.
Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Ben, CEO and founder here at Bolt Deals, and today I'm back with another very special podcast with one of my clients, Niccolo Fazio from Fazio Real Estate Solutions in Dallas, Texas. He drove down here today on a Saturday to do this podcast, and I'm super excited to share his story, how he got to where he is right now, and more importantly, the special sauce behind how he disposed deals for some of the biggest wholesalers here in Dallas, Texas, and the entire state of Texas. So with that said, let's dive into it. Niccolo, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, my man. I'm doing real good.
How's the
I
drive
appreciate the invite to come here.
Of course. How was your drive down here?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, it's what, almost 4-ish hours of traffic getting here from Dallas. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome.
so not terrible. Honestly, my wife and I take turns driving, which gives me the opportunity to do some work while we're driving down here.
100%. So I sort of want to dive in and talk about what you've accomplished in real estate so far. And I know you have a pretty big team, what they do, and then we can just go off of that. So how long have you been in real estate, and give us some numbers here?
Yeah, man. So I've been doing this for about going on 5 years now, and the team has grown exponentially, especially in the last 2-3 years. That growth has helped us develop both an acquisitions wing on the team now. We focus really deeply on our JV wing, which is really servicing new and experienced wholesalers. Okay. And what we've developed over these couple of years is a huge dispositions like warhorse. So that's our dispo house. Okay. Over those 5 years, I mean, we've done multiple 7 figures in assignments already, and we're looking to keep scaling up. We're looking to hire more and just continue giving that service back to a lot of people in this industry.
You say multiple 7 figures in assignment fees. Do you have a ballpark of what that looks like?
I know on the 4th year in, we did 1.4.
Wow.
And that was actually a copy and paste. So year 3 and 4, we were in the 1.4 range. The first couple of years were hundreds of thousands. I think in year 2, we did about 400,000. And in years 1, I only actually did 30,000. There's a reason for that, which I know we'll dive into. Uh-huh. And it's just crazy to see that growth just compounding on one another. So I'm hoping to hit 3 by this year or coming 26.
In total, or in what is total assignments generated?
Total assignments for the whole 5 years?
Yeah, for the entire 5 years. If you had to put a ballpark on it.
If I had to put a number to that, we're probably close to 3 or 4 million.
Wow. So $3 to $4 million in assignment fees in 5 years. Okay. But I'm sure you didn't start there, right? No. You didn't start, obviously, month 1, month 2, just ripping deals right off the bat, right? Close. So let's talk about your background. Where did you come from? Were you always either an entrepreneur, or did you start off, going to college, going the traditional route, and then going into business? So tell us about your story. What's your background here?
So, no, real estate wasn't even in the picture back then.
Okay.
And so I grew up in Pennsylvania, in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And people who don't know that, that's where the office took place. That's usually where people know it from, or it's just 2 hours outside of Philadelphia. And so I went to school to Penn State because I really wanted to get into communications and the whole corporate world. We're all kind of taught that's the objective at the end of the day, is to get a good job out of college means that you're going to have a successful life. Mm-hmm. And my parents always pushed for that. They were very giving. We had a great Italian family that grew up on those kind of values, big family dinners and all that. And so I went to school for communications, and that led me actually into hospitality, which is kind of real estate. Okay. So I got into hospitality. I did an internship in Chicago. And when I did that internship, it was for a Hilton brand. They got me on their sales team, working with their marketing team, just getting a whole feel for what it's like to be in hospitality under a big flagship like Hilton. And the benefit to that too was that we had some friends where a lady who was a good friend of my mother's, her brother was like the CEO of one of these like marketing agencies that ran the hotel. So they helped these companies get a good position in a certain city. So he gave me the privilege of getting to actually live in that hotel over the summer. And that's how I ended up meeting my wife.
Wow.
So we met during my internship, I got really into the hospitality realm. I got hired outside of college, and it was a good experience, but I quickly realized that hospitality, because it's so people serviced and people focused, that there's no time off because of that. Right. So when I started, I think I had a total of 3 or 4 PTO days I was able to utilize.
Okay.
And really using them on holidays was a no-go, because holidays are some of the busiest times of the year for most hotels.
Correct.
So that was like, yeah, no, I couldn't work that long for no reason. And like, I mean, the pay was okay. The benefits were really cool. I mean, you got into like cool restaurants and like big debut things in Chicago, because they always want to partner with hotels for you to sponsor them. But it just wasn't a good like life balance for me. And at the time, just my girlfriend, who later becomes my wife. And so I started seeking other avenues.
I see.
I left the hospitality realm to get actually then into life insurance.
Oh.
So I tried life insurance sales for a hot minute.
Okay.
That didn't go so well.
Why is that?
So I was still a young kid out of college. I didn't understand what real self-discipline was in that avenue. So I wasn't holding myself to a good sales regimen at the time. And I didn't realize how much work kind of goes into working for yourself. And so that part of my mind, my work ethic, I guess, wasn't totally developed yet. I was still feeling out the world type of thing. And they really wanted me to delve into, which is common, and we'll get into this too when I started my licensing for a realtor, is they always delve into, hey, use your inner circle, your sphere of influence, your first 100 people and your family, friends, and whatnot, that you could leverage essentially to start your book of business. The caveat is all my family was in Pennsylvania, and my friends. I only just moved to Chicago with my, at the time, girlfriend, whose family barely knew me. And so I didn't really have that sphere of influence. So I was just trying to start from like 0, and it didn't really go anywhere. So I quickly burned out, and we kind of positioned to a different role, which was with then a technical recruiting company.
Oh, wow.
And so I did technical recruiting for a little bit. And I was actually with a family, a cousin of mine who owned her own firm that she purchased in her time, which she used to do technical recruiting. And so I got to learn the ins and outs of what it's like to source for talent and find good technical type people to work for some really big companies. I mean, we were hiring for Southwest Airlines. We were hiring for Blue Cross Blue Shield. She really built something incredible.
Yeah.
And that avenue ended up being the kind of the starting point of what led us to Texas, because she had a branch both in Chicago and one in Dallas. The smaller one was in Dallas. And I saw that as an opportunity because there was a company way back in college that I really wanted to work for, which was an investment firm that was located now in Dallas. And so I saw that as a chance for me to go from my technical recruiting job, utilize the job as a way to have a safety base to move to Dallas. And then once we landed, have that as an opportunity for me to see if I can get a job with this firm that I've always wanted to work for. Did that, worked out. We got down here and we locked in with the comforts of knowing I had a job already lined up where I was moving.
Yeah.
And I got a job with that firm, and that was around the COVID era, which is really when stuff started to spiral. But I quickly realized that working under like serious corporate values was not mixing with my idea of like family values.
I see.
And that led me out of corporate into real estate, and then it expanded into all this.
How'd you find real estate?
I came across it in 2 ways. I had a family friend back home who got her license, and she only got her license to avoid her crazy work life, which she was a nurse for the longest time.
Oh, okay.
And her life was getting harder and harder to do with her family and her nursing job, because this was also around COVID, and she just couldn't take the pressures of it anymore. And so she found it as an escape to become a licensed agent, and she saw a lot of success in that. And I always saw the impacts of what real estate did for a lot of people.
Okay.
And again, I always liked hotels. I loved hospitality. It was just the environment of what they expected out of people in those job roles.
So were you marketing and sales for a hotel, or?
I was marketing and sales for the hotel.
Gotcha.
I was essentially a sales role, like recruiting as sales for people.
Okay.
And then the financial firm I ended up with before I left that into real estate was a customer service focusing role.
Gotcha.
So they were all focused around serving people and providing sales and value.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's transition over to the real estate side. You found out about real estate from a close relative, it sounds like. And then did you go out and get your license? Did you look into wholesaling rentals? Walk us through that.
So, yes, I learned from my family friend that she had her license and she was seeing a lot of success being a real estate agent. And I was like, okay, that sounds like maybe how people get started in real estate. I didn't know much else at that time too. We're talking end of 2019 going to 2020. So TikTok's starting to pop off with wholesaling, but to me,
in 2020.
oh yeah, this is
okay.
my whole life changed in COVID.
Oh, okay.
Which I believe a lot of people's lives.
Yeah,
changed
same
in
here. I
COVID.
started business 5 years ago.
Yeah. So exactly. So 2020 is hitting. TikTok's popping off with, which I think was like Musical.ly at that point, but
yeah,
it's popping off with these wholesale because I'm probably speaking into the algorithms about real estate and agency and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm trying to go for my license because that's kind of what my family's friend advised me to do.
Yeah.
And while going for it, I was talking to Keller Williams at the time, who's a great big brokerage here in Texas, I think across the country. But they were very anti-wholesale. So I kind of pushed that into the gray zone and was trying to focus retail as much as I could. And so I was studying for that license actually while I was at that financial firm, again, during 2020 and all the craziness. And come August is when I was set to test for my real estate license.
Okay.
So still focusing retail. That same week that I'm testing for my license, I got approved and I passed on that Wednesday. That coming Friday, the financial firm let my entire team go. We got laid off for COVID.
Oh, wow.
And it was kind of, I look at it still as a blessing. That was the moment that God saw that he was either going to push me out of this nest because I wasn't going to fly by myself, or I was going to probably be stuck in that W-2 world and never feel confident enough to kind of spread my wings on my own. So that push is really what put me into the industry, because then it was a sink or swim model. And my wife and I looked at each other. She was actually my fiance at the time. But we looked at each other and said that this is the opportunity where I'm going to give this a shot and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then I'll go back and get a job. But I need to give this an honest try first. And if I don't give it an honest try, I'm never going to be able to live with myself knowing I never gave it a chance. And I'm grateful that she saw it the same way, even though our families and such were obviously against the idea. I mean, it was COVID. Nobody knew what was going to happen, what was going on. They were like, you should just go back and find something stable. But I was like, no, I really got to give this a chance. And I didn't need anybody else except my wife to believe in me to do that.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
That is absolutely incredible. So, yeah, because I was going to ask you how your wife felt about it. And obviously, she sounded like she supported you throughout the entire journey, which is absolutely incredible.
These 5 years wouldn't have happened to without her. I know that for a fact.
That is really awesome. That is really awesome. Okay, so you decide to give real estate a shot.
Yeah.
Walk us through that. How do you go from agent to wholesaling with the JV Dispo House?
So that goes back to kind of what I said about the insurance stuff, right?
Okay.
They always say push your sphere of influence. That's where you're going to find your book of business. Just like Chicago, we knew nobody here in Texas. I had like a couple of distant cousins I've never met, but my dad recommended I reach out to just to have connections down here, not so much for business.
Yeah.
And so I was like, look at Keller Williams. I don't have that. Again, like I need something else to build this business. And they're like, well, your other option then is to either host events, go to expos, go to meetings and meetups, and see if you can meet people that way and generate business in that form. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give this the honest try. I didn't do so well with the insurance stuff, but this time's different. You know, I've grown up, I've realized the responsibilities there. And so I'm going to give this a shot. And that led me to going to my first investor meetup. It was like a Texas RIA in the Dallas area.
Okay.
And there they were talking about wholesaling again. And I'm like, I keep seeing this shit on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Because like to me, and everything that the brokerage obviously is saying is that it's illegal, it's a gray zone, it's frowned upon, like it's going to be outlawed in no time. Like I wouldn't waste your time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, I'm going to check it out anyway. I've always checked it out. I'm like, the worst thing they could say is no.
Yeah.
So I go to this event. They're having a 3-day long seminar event about what real estate is and how you can get started in all the different avenues from wholesaling all the way up to like big commercial crap.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, commercial sounds awesome, but I can't just step into that.
Yeah.
So let's start at the bottom and work our way up.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got introduced to wholesaling, and I started just investigating it more and more. And there was a lot of fear in it because a lot of brokerages push this agenda that wholesaling and being an agent is illegal or frowned upon. And it's not, it's just difficult. Yeah. And so there's pros and cons of being a licensed agent who wholesales. And I later hung up my license to avoid those legalities, but it's not impossible. Okay. And I quickly moved brokerages to go that route, because what I saw is that agency and wholesaling, especially when you don't have a sphere of influence to leverage, is the same amount of effort and work. You're still going to have to generate your own leads, seller leads, and you're still going to have to put in the efforts through any kind of marketing campaigns or putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
The difference is, and this is the part I liked, was there's less paperwork involved with wholesale than there is retail. Yeah. There's less emotional bias when it is you're dealing with real estate, because in wholesale, people are just looking at the numbers. The number has no sense to make it a good investment. Right. In retail, you could be looking at 4, 5, 7 homes, and they don't want to buy any of them because the backsplash is the wrong color. Yeah, like that drove me crazy. I'm like, I'm not going to drive around all day just because somebody doesn't like something minute in a house that you could usually change. Yeah. So that was the turning point from retail to wholesale, because I was just like, look, if I could do all the same efforts but get better results, have it focused in on numbers, then I'm going to go that route. And it looked like, and it was true, the payouts were even better. What you can make on an assignment fee traditionally was far better than what you would make on a real estate or a marketing fee traditionally. Yeah. And there was no brokerages that are trying to take a cut out of that. Yeah. So that was kind of really what tipped the scales into going to the wholesale market.
Gotcha. Wow. So a lot. So the first thing I want to dive into is you found out about the real estate meetups, right? Yes. A lot of people go to real estate meetups, and from what I have seen, they shake people's hands, get a few phone numbers, and then they never reach out to those people. So I guess, how did you approach it differently? And what would you recommend somebody to actually build connections and do deals when they're at meetups?
Yeah. So there's a variety of different meetups out there. Right. So the one I was telling you about, was like one of those seminars. So I went further than just getting numbers and shaking hands. Yeah. That was one of those ones where they sell you on a course. Oh, right.
Okay.
So I got sold. Oh, so this is the start of being oversold in real estate. Okay. And luckily, again, we talked the numbers. We dug ourselves out of that hole, but it was a hole that we created first. So that seminar was one of the ones where you spend $15,000, you sign up for this coaching program, all the bells and whistles, teach you how to do real estate. Okay. And then it was a horrible idea, but I was gullible and new, and I didn't know what bad was in that time. Yeah.
And bought experience.
Yes, it was. Hey, I have a good friend of mine that says you don't look at your losses as a loss, it's just a lesson. You change the meaning of that L. Yeah. And that lesson taught me that there's a lot of good ways that seem good, but you lose your money in it. But you can always turn those lessons too into an opportunity. And I quickly started to realize that down the line. But that seminar was still a window into real estate that helped me start meeting some higher up people. And so the way that you really start to maximize that for new people, whether you get sold on a course or not, is you go to these meetups, you shake hands, you get phone numbers, you learn about what other people are doing, and you try to find a good pocket, maybe like 4 or 5 people who are doing stuff within reach of what you're trying to do, right? Because you're only as like financially strong, smart, or successful as like your closest couple friends or people you work with. Yeah. So find the people that you want to be like and go meet with them, and then go above and beyond to be around them, learn what they're doing, how they're doing it, and stay in the rooms of what they're doing, because then you're going to just overhear and you're going to see and you're going to shadow. I mean, a lot of people right now, like going way back in time, like apprenticeship was a big thing. So you're almost apprenticing for these people to learn how to talk to sellers, learn what you're supposed to be looking for, or learn how you're supposed to be operating in this industry. Yep. And staying in those circles, they'll just start introducing you to the right people. But that's the big caveat. A lot of people will just start meeting people. They'll get phone numbers. And then I think a big part of it, because I mean, I'm a big culprit of it too, is, at least back then I was, you feel like you're a burden or like you don't have anything to give. But
exactly,
giving it free effort could be a big thing. Like, hey, look, I don't expect anything back from you, Ben, but if there's some like leads you want me to call, I want to just like learn from you. Like, I'll do whatever it takes to learn this. Yeah. And if I figure out how to get a deal out of all this craziness, Ben, I'm going to bring it to you and we're going to work on it.
100%. I love the fact that you said that, because from my personal experience and speaking with some of our most successful clients over the years, everybody wants to reach and connect with those successful people, the guys at the very top. But the only issue is, when you're starting out, you don't have anything to give. Right. Beside, especially money, right?
Well, of course.
Because these people at the top, they either have some sort of coaching that you have to buy into. And if you're starting out, you have no money and you can't afford to take a bet so big that if it doesn't work out, you're screwed. Right. But the one thing that and I have a bit of a take on this, is time and effort.
Yes.
And yes, I know some people that are watching that have a 9-to-5 job, but like there's also hours and things you can do outside of that. So if I survey our most successful clients, they all come from or they used to work for a successful wholesale company. So what I've noticed, and I want your opinion on this, is if somebody was to start out, would you recommend them either save money to buy a coaching program and then figure it out themselves, or it sounds like you would rather recommend them become an apprentice and actually provide value and effort? And another big thing on top of that is being incredibly coachable. And I've noticed this because I've had people reach out to me that are like, dude, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I don't want anything. I just want to learn.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say no to that.
It is.
Because the risk for us is like, cool, we taught something, we taught them something.
Right.
We have to take time, energy, and effort to reply to the texts, answer phone calls, things like that. But in the grand scheme of things, you could have impacted that guy's entire life.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what your opinion on that is.
Dude, I have so many opinions on that because I love the biggest thing that I've loved now about this industry is the amount of impact you can have on so many people and so many families with just sometimes the smallest efforts. But a lot of times it's that small effort that ripples into a larger one.
Yep.
And so the biggest thing for people is that you could save up and get, like you said, a course or some program or some community, and they're all amazing. I'm a part of a lot of them. I went wildly into debt getting into every single one of them. And it had its payoffs. You know, everything works out in the end, but you have to do something with it. Yeah. Right? You can buy a really nice car that goes really fast and you want to race them, but if you don't go to the racetrack and do something with it, it's a useless vehicle. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but all at the end of the day, the truth is that all of the content that everyone's coaching and producing a lot of the time is free on YouTube.
Yep.
The benefit is, and I heard someone say it once, is that you're just paying somebody to organize it for you and put it somewhere. And then it's more accessible.
Yep.
But you could learn all of that from somebody who's already doing it
100%.
And not have to sit there behind a screen and watch it the whole time. Because a lot of people who also get into those educational rabbit holes is they find themselves in analysis paralysis, trying to figure out and learn, which I did. We could talk about that too.
Yeah.
But like you sit there trying to figure out and learn the whole industry from start to finish. Yeah. When there's people who own this, like including me, that are doing this business, I don't know everything about it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna fail forward. Yeah. And so you make more progress with decision, even if it's the wrong decision, than with indecision.
Exactly.
And so by getting into just the trenches with somebody who's already doing it, especially if they have a whole team that's willing to put you on their back too. Yeah. I mean, the opportunity is endless because you'll get stuck behind the screen far more than you would if you were just getting on the phone and talking with people alongside like-minded people. And those people are going to hold you accountable and push you more, which always is going to end up in better results. And I learned a lot more by just talking with sellers and investors and other people than I did ever watching a video.
100%. And that's I share very similar opinions to you because there are people that obviously reach out to me, starting off wholesaling, asking what the best course or who the best guru is to follow. Right. And I'm always and part of me is always like, they don't know any better. So it's like, I will just tell them what to do. Yeah. Because everybody's like, join this coaching program. And then they're going through all this stuff. Yeah. And now they're more confused than where they first started. So I'm just like, if you just went and worked for somebody and they just had the entire blueprint, the entire SOP laid out, and you just followed it, and you were, like you said, in the trenches, they would learn more talking to sellers than they would because they have a consistent feedback loop, which is their manager, for example, telling them what to do. Because most wholesalers, starting out, they're like, oh, websites, business cards, all that stuff. Oh my God. But it doesn't really drive the needle. So, but it's like, you don't know what you don't know. No. Which is why I'm like, dude, if you just take the time, because funny thing, I was at a coffee shop yesterday, and it was this me and my friend, a guy approached us. Because we were talking about like marketing and AI and stuff. And he comes up to us. He's like, yeah, man, like I'm trying to start a business as well. Like we want to get into AI and we're trying to find out who to serve. And he shows us that he created a business card and he's trying to create a website. And I'm like, how long have you been doing that for? He's like, a few months. Like,
yep. Always,
okay. Yeah. If you just took that time and went out and started prospecting, you'd be way further ahead than where you are at. So it's like some people just need redirection, which is obviously the goal of this podcast here as well. So I completely agree with you on that. I want to go back and talk about the legality side, right? Because you were mentioning when you were at Keller Williams, they said that wholesaling, they're obviously very biased against it.
Of course.
So I'm curious for you, how did you overcome that fact? Because people that are watching this, they're overthinking about like, oh, what if I get sued?
Yeah.
What about all this stuff happens? So I'm curious how you overcame that.
Well, on the realtor side of it, it's just actually having an open and honest discussion with your brokerage. And there's a lot of brokers out there that allow for wholesaling, and there's just different ways you have to go about it. You have to have a separate LLC from yourself to do those kinds of things. You have to have proper disclosures.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas is one of the more strict states too, because we have our own Texas laws on top of the national laws that come with the realtor associations. But the other legalese that you get worried about people suing you for things, and I mean, it's true with even the campaigns and marketing you guys do. Like anybody can sue you for anything in this country. Yeah. And people who want to sue you are going to sue you. Yeah. There's nothing you could ever do that'll stop them from doing that. I say that all the time too, that like, there's evil in this world. Evil's going to always find a way to hurt you anyway. Yeah. So don't not act because you're afraid of getting hurt. Yeah. Just know how to make yourself strong enough so that when they come after you, you can take the fight.
Exactly. That a funny analogy that I have for that, because the way I look at it, it's like going to a person and them telling you that, oh, they don't want to get rich because they're worried about taxes. Yeah. I'm like, dude,
there's people that say that kind of thing too, though.
Make the monies first and then worry about taxes.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's my personal opinion, because this is something I struggled with myself when I first started for the first like 2-3 years. Yeah. It was all mindset.
Yeah. It's all mindset.
Dude, the reason why I love wholesaling as like a startup business, or even, we could talk about opportunity vehicles in a second here, but like when you started off in real estate, if somebody's going into wholesaling as their first business, it is, in my opinion, one of the best businesses you can start, assuming you like real estate and you want to make a lot of money, right? Because it teaches you all the skills and all the mindsets, because there's so much shit that happens.
Oh my God, tons.
I was about to ask if I can curse, and I forgot it, and then I remember it was my podcast. Anyway.
You can always put a blurb in there or whatever.
Yeah. So it's the amount of like character development that you get when a seller says no, when a buyer backs out. It's just like, you just learn to put up with shit so often, which is why I love real estate. So if somebody's watching this and they're worried about little things like that, like they're worried like, oh, how do I pay taxes? Yeah. Because I've seen stuff like that in group support. I've seen worried about taxes. I've seen people stressing out about how to set up an LLC. Yeah. And I'm just like, brother, it takes 30 minutes. Yeah.
Or I can't call someone because I don't have a website set up yet.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm curious, like, what would you tell somebody?
Yeah. Oh my God. You just stop. Because I thought that too when I asked that. Like,
we all did.
And a lot of the issue comes from, now there's communities I'm a part of now, they don't push it so much, but a lot of those communities push you to get those things set up first. Yeah. And they put way too much importance on it. Yeah. And it is all very important. I'm right. I'm not giving financial, legal advice or nothing, but truthfully, you can figure all that out while you're still doing the game of real estate, doing the game of wholesale. Yeah. You don't need the company name. You don't need the website. You don't need the business cards. I can't tell you, I mean, over the hundreds and hundreds of deals that we've done already, I think maybe 2 or 3 have asked for my website. So it's not even anything that's of really relative use. Yeah. And the benefit, and I know we'll talk about this later too, is like the business that I built with Dispo and JV, is that you just partner with somebody who already has a business and then use them as the front man to the deal. And now you look as legitimate as you're attempting to be. But don't let it hold you back from taking the action, because then you'll never get anywhere.
100%. So we went a little bit all over the place, but let's get back on track to the wholesaling side. Yeah. Walk us through your start. Yeah. Right? Like, what did the beginning journey look like? How did you get deals? Yeah. Who did you reach out to? Just lay it all out for us.
So, like I said, started by dropping $15,000 in a community that I probably shouldn't have. That was a bad move. Yeah. But I kept making those mistakes for a good long time. So the beginning was 9 months of really bad decisions based on all the things that you're saying not to do and that I'm saying not to do now because I lived through it. Yeah. And that's kind of like really quick taper point to what you were saying before, is like by partnering with people who've already done this stuff, you can avoid some either really big legal mistakes
Yeah.
or just really big financial mistakes that others have made for you, and they'd be happy to tell you, hey, don't do this because I lost tens of thousands of dollars doing it. I don't want to see the same thing happen to you, and so you can avoid those types of things. So back to the start, though, is I bought into this community, got nowhere with it. It was really a loss of time and efforts. It was like a lot of people that were just talking about doing real estate, but they don't really do real estate. And the guys that really do real estate aren't going to give you the time or effort to help you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of the community, even though the event was held down here, was more northern. And I was like, I really need somebody local that I can just walk into their office, sit next to them, and learn this thing. Because the content, the videos and stuff they were pushing wasn't cutting it. But I kept just trying my best to learn stuff, taking that inaction of not calling sellers, but just learning about how to talk to sellers on content.
Yeah.
And so that led me into a plethora of different communities. I bought more and more content. I bought more and more coaching programs.
Yeah.
And I took less and less real action because I was worried about having an LLC. I was worried about knowing all of the ways to handle certain objections because I thought I was going to get peppered with every single one.
Yeah.
And then I had Keller Williams, or my brokerage at the time, harassing me about the legalities of doing that. So I was like in a whirlwind of just like confusion.
Yeah.
Right. And so I led into that confusion for 9 months after getting let go from my company and trying to do real estate. And in those 9 months, the other part, going back to what you said, my mindset of this business and my mindset of what I was supposed to do and accomplish these results was so poor that it didn't let me get out from ahead of myself, right? So I was creating my own enemy by being my own enemy because I was telling myself I had to do this by myself. I had to lone wolf this thing. I had to find the lead. I had to talk to the seller. I had to figure out all those details, figure out how to do the contract, figure out how to put it into an escrow company, what to do with the escrow company, what to do in the dispute. Like I was supposed to do the whole thing because that's what real business people, that's what real entrepreneurs in America do.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're sold.
Yeah.
That is the biggest bundle of curse or not bullshit that we are ever sold, because this industry, any industry, you look at so many big companies, it's all partnerships, it's all collaboration. And it's like, if you just stop trying to fight against that belief and you get out of your own way, you start to accomplish more.
Yep.
And so in the end of those 9 months, I joined my final community that I could afford because all my cards were maxed out. I'm like $100K debt in Unity at this point. Yeah. And I literally like dropped my last dollar into this community, and I luckily run across who is now a really good friend of mine. And he tells me to just stop what I'm doing, forget everything I already paid for, and cut all of the systems too, because I was buying I was buying PropStream, batch leads, like every software out there, because I thought that was the solution to doing business. Like I was one tool away from success, which was never the case.
Yeah.
You could do this business with a notepad and a pen and your cell phone. Yeah. So he told me to stop doing everything that I was already doing and believed in. And he's like, here's what I do. And he built a dispo model, and he's been doing acquisitions for a little bit. He's like, just go find a deal, and then I'll help you walk the deal from start to finish. And he's like, and we'll split the deal 50-50, but I'll mentor you in this way. And he was local to Texas. He was local to Dallas. So I was like, okay, that's everything I was looking for. It took me way too much money and wasted time to get there. But, I think guys telling me something, I'm going to lean into this.
So instead of prospecting for deals,
Yeah.
which is what the coaching programs were telling you to do,
Right.
you prospected for a mentor.
Yes, by accident, because it was never the intention, but like subconsciously, that's what I was trying to find. I was trying to find, I guess, that apprenticeship that I always longed for. And I always thought that by buying one of these communities, like that's what I was getting, and it never turned out to be the case. And they usually aren't. The most of the coaching programs that are within financial reach of most are not mentorship or apprenticeships. They're just, hey, here's a bundle of content. Here's a group of people doing the business. Good luck.
Doing the business doesn't mean they're succeeding with
Yes,
business,
I guess attempting the business, right? Yeah, that's like, usually of any community, there's only 8 to 10% of people in that community that are probably doing it, genuinely doing the business.
Interesting. I ran a different stat on that because
Really?
I might get in trouble for this.
Probably depends on the community.
Oh yeah,
like, there's some that are way better than others.
So there's B2C biz op communities, and then there's like mastermind communities.
Yes. Well, masterminds are a whole other level.
Yeah,
too.
masterminds are a whole nother level. And these are obviously where I try to lean towards too. But like when it comes to B2C consumer biz op, I'm not gonna say any names, but like
yes,
mass influencers. Think about that.
Yes, guru stuff.
I've seen success rates, which I would define as people actually doing deals and making some profit.
Yeah,
3 to 5% max.
Well, yeah,
like
because there's people that accidentally maybe get 1 or 2 deals, or they hobbyist it. But there's only a small handful that genuinely make a business.
Exactly. So I have this funny saying where I believe that biz op communities are like a circle jerk of just people. Anyways, that's on to the next topic.
I think there's good ones out there, and I'm a part of some good ones right now. From what I've probably seen them all at this point.
Oh yeah,
but
same here.
But masterminds are definitely a different level. But there's bad masterminds out there too. Just because you're paying a lot of money for something that's good.
that is absolutely true. I think a mastermind comes down to the type of people inside of it and
100%.
how well engaged they are.
Absolutely.
Because some masterminds, just to share this because I think it'll be valuable, some masterminds just have the name of the person in there.
Right.
But the guy's not present.
He's not present.
Like, so it's just like, cool, he's there as a bait.
Right.
But it's just like, okay, he doesn't speak and then he's gone.
Right.
He does one call and he's gone. He's not actually interacting. But obviously the qualification to join some of them, like I'm in one where I had to get like 3 referrals from people inside of it, and I had to pay a very big chunk of money. Yeah. So they have like 2 qualifiers, which I like. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, if you made it in here, most of these people aren't bums, right? But if people call it a mastermind, in my personal opinion, it's like you pay $500 and you're in. It's just like that's not really mastermind. That's like anyways.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You found this mentor.
Yeah.
He took you under his wing.
Yes.
Is what we'll say. Walk us through that. Like, what are the things he taught you?
Yeah.
What are the beliefs that he helped you overcome that you still take on and use to this day?
So there was a lot of tiers of beliefs that had to get implemented because you can't overwhelm yourself with anything. It's kind of like someone who's like, oh, I want to work out every day now after the new year. But if you never worked out a day in your life, you probably should start small and then increment into it. And so he instilled those same beliefs too. And so we're on the 9-month mark, and this is after hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. My wife, 1,000% supporting me as our families are just continuously coming down on me because they're like, dude, it's been 9 months. What are you doing?
Yeah.
We just moved to Texas. So like we're on our own essentially. They're like, you have no support system. Like, what are you guys going to do?
Yeah.
And she's getting worried because like, not worried in me, but just worried. She's like, all her family's like just ganging up around us. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And she's a trooper working at this time, a family practice for therapy because she's a therapist. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, all right, we need to get a reboot. So the other beautiful thing of COVID is the car market was amazing. And so I ended up selling my car just to get some extra cash to start doing now what my mentor was telling me to do.
Wow.
So we sold down to 1 car. Because I'm like out of money. I'm tapped out on credit cards, so I need something.
Yeah.
We sold my car, got $9,000 for it. And I'm like, all right, this money is going to go towards either making this happen or this is where I tap out. And that was the commitment. That was the promise that both my wife and I decided on was going to be the turning point. It was like, this is it because we're out of options after this. So he goes to me and he's like, okay, again, forget everything you've already learned. Let's just start with a lead type, and let's just start with a way to contact that lead type.
Yep.
He has like, I don't care if it's calling, SMS campaigns, email, like postcards, you door knock, whatever you want to do. There's a plethora of options out there. Mm-hmm. Just pick one and stick with it, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, and that was true with what like all the softwares even I was trying to get, is if you don't give something enough time to work, it won't work. Like nothing's going to really work in 30 days or less. Like that's, if it does, you got lucky. A lot of times it's like you give everything like a 90-day window.
100%.
So I'm like, okay, well, I was still in a bad belief of like, I just can't talk to sellers. I thought, so I'll try SMS campaigns. And at that time, there weren't really any SMS laws. So you could go crazy on these things. So I am mass texting probate leads at the time mixed with just, I think, high equity sellers, retired landlords too. And that's where I started getting into the avenue of just getting some good routine in. So I was learning good routine of consistency in marketing. I was getting good routine and consistency of follow-up, and then good routine of just talking to sellers. You learn a lot by doing those 3 things on a daily basis.
Yep.
And so that led me to talking to an individual who was in probate, who just inherited a house that he didn't want and he wanted to get rid of it. Drove all the way out to Fort Worth at the time. I was living in Plano. It's like a 40-50 minute drive. I had to make that drive a couple of times, but eventually I got him under contract, and then I took that contract and I brought it back to my partner, and he knew the investor to sell it to. But the reason I felt confident to do all these things is because he told me that he had my back every step of the way. So if I ever felt like in a negotiation, I didn't know what to say or what I was doing or didn't know the numbers to say or whatever, I knew that all I had to do was like, you know what? Let me get my partner on the phone, right? That's what he told me to say. He's like, just say you're my partner, because we are partners.
Yeah.
It's like, let me get my partner on the phone. That's usually a question he would answer for me. Like, let me see if I can get him on the phone. He can answer those questions and see where we could take this thing. So having that much confidence then behind me erased that belief of I need to know everything about the industry. Because now I don't have to. This guy claims to know everything about the industry. So now I'm good. So whatever I don't know, he should know.
Yeah.
And the same thing too. He was going to be the one on the contract. He was going to be the one running the title and escrow process. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, the legal realm's out of it. And if I have any questions or something comes up, like he's there to back me up. And then that same way the whole way through for that whole transaction. Yeah. And so having that confidence of, okay, now it's not just me, is the beauty of what really started opening my mind also up to just JV. Because I'm like, now, yes, you're splitting the profit, but you're splitting the headaches, you're splitting the problems, you're splitting the risks, even though there's not too many risks in wholesale, but you're splitting all of these things with another person or another group of people. And now that pressure that was giving you stress and the inability to act is also in half. And that gives you a little bit more freedom and clarity to go do more activities. So I went from 9 months of doing no deals to actually in that same month, I got my first 3 deals under contract simultaneously on Good Friday. So it was a whole shift. And then that obviously unlocked a huge mental shift, because I was like, okay, if I get out of my way and I just partner with people, then this whole thing is just blown out of the water.
Gotcha. And that's what you have pretty much doubled down on, right? You guys have
quadrupled down on.
Yeah, like 10x, right?
10x it.
So you guys went from obviously, you tried to, did you ever start with the goal of becoming a dispo house, or just like you wanted to take the entire thing and then he overcame that for you?
So the whole dispo house thing happened all by accident down the line. But my thing that I really liked doing was finding other wholesalers that were struggling to move a deal or struggling to figure out what to do with a lead, and helping them get through those pain points and turn it into a contract and then figuring out how to sell it. And that's what he would help me do. He would help me sell these deals, whether it was brought from a wholesaler or a lead that I found through acquisitions. Yeah. And we would move it. And I never had a problem with acquisitions. It was just a different part of the industry that I wasn't too happy about. I mean, I didn't care too much to talk to sellers. They get brutal sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've always been a very professional in my approach with stuff I do.
Yeah.
And that's where I started to go to a lot more meetups while I was still doing this business, meeting with investors and buyers. Okay. And I was like, I really like talking to these guys. I like shooting the shit. I like talking numbers. I like talking bigger plans and learning about their goals. Because I also like, just going back to our other point, seeing people succeed and be helped.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I could play a part in your success, I want to be a part of that.
I see.
So meeting these investors are like, yeah, I really need to find XYZ investments, but I'm sick of dealing with these wholesalers that aren't bringing value or being transparent or just kind of treating it like a used car market. And I'm like, well, I want to be different than that. Right. So I want investors and buyers to be excited to buy deals. And I want them to be excited to invest with wholesalers and redefine the industry in a way that people don't look at it as some fly-by-night shady operation. It's a genuine business.
Yeah, I get it.
So my mentor at that time, he had me doing acquisitions. He was running dispo. I was understanding what it was that he was doing. And I was like, well, I could try to figure out the dispo stuff. I was like, I love talking to these guys. I just got to get into the right circles, meet the right people, learn how to speak with agents and other people who are buying the deals. And then next time I have an opportunity, I can try and sell it myself. And so I started doing that, meeting with these investor types. And I was still having deals come to me on a somewhat regular basis from our wholesalers of the deals that I was generating. And I started learning how to have higher level storytelling conversations with these investors to get them to pay more and more for a deal. So at one point I was selling deals maybe at a 70% of ARV ratio. And then I started teeing it up to 74, 75, up to 77. And I was like, oh, I could build a whole database on this. And now I get the benefit of, one, providing a really good service to these investors of products that I am giving my stamp of approval as a good investment.
Uh-huh.
And I'm providing an equally good service to this JV partner who maybe was lied to or tricked by another partner that they had, or they felt like they were being taken advantage of by their partner at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, at full transparency, here's how I'm going to run this operation. You bring the deal, you'll get to see every step of the way, and we'll get it over to an investor, we'll get it sold, and you're going to get paid, and we're going to make this a repeatable process.
Okay.
And that's what led me into doing dispositions. I didn't even know it was like its own business until it just started growing like wildfire.
100%. So I want to dive into this even more. So let me break down to me and explain like how you're networking with JV partners. So I'm curious how you go about finding JV partners, like more wholesalers that would actually trust for you to, do deals, to sell their deals. Because obviously there's few not so good wholesale or dispo houses out there. So I'm curious what that process looks like. How do you build trust with a JV partner, we'll call them, for them to actually submit your deals? Where are you finding these people?
I mean, you find people everywhere. You'll be surprised how many people are actually doing this business until you start doing the business and you're surrounding yourself and you're like, wow, there's a lot of people that know what wholesaling is. Yeah. And there's even more people that are attempting it.
Yeah.
And so you'll find them in these communities, whether they're online or in person. You're finding people at meetups, but you're also finding them at like places like brokerages. Like you have retail real estate agents that are trying to do it, but they just can't figure out how to get into it.
Yeah.
And so going to these meetups, posting online, content's a big thing. I should have been more aware of that and made more content, but by some form, fit, shape, or fashion, made a lot of what I did organically by just meeting with people and being authentic when I met with them. Yeah. And then always doing right by them each and every time, no matter how good or ugly or whatever happened during the deal process. I knew with transparency and trust, I was doing right by them every step of the way. And so by continuously doing right by them, they would see that I was somebody trustworthy to move their deal with. And then they would tell their friends or other people they knew in the industry, like, hey, this guy Fazio is really good at what he does. And when it doesn't go so hot, he knows either a way to fix a hard deal, fix a complicated deal, or when it's just going bad because of the numbers or whatever it is, he's honest about it and will tell you so that you don't waste your time on it. Because that was my biggest thing too. I learned from wasting 9 months before I got this thing started. Like, your time is one of your most valuable assets. You can't get that back. You can get more money. You can get more education. You can't get time. 100%. So I'm not going to let you spin your tires for no reason or just sit there in false hope like that something's going to happen when it's not going to.
100%.
And so delivering that trust and transparency to these different JV partners, wherever I was finding them, whether it was communities or meetups, is what grew. And then word of mouth grew from there.
Gotcha. So we broke down how we find JV partners. Let's talk about how you actually sell your deal. So let's say I submit a deal. How do I even go about that? Like, do you have a website? Do I have to DM you all the details? What does that look like? And how would you go about actually selling the deals and getting everybody paid, making sure everybody gets paid?
Making sure everyone gets paid. That's always the goal.
Yep.
So first things first is we have a website that we now utilize.
Okay.
In it, we have a submission link where it connects to a form that will get the deal into our CRM and get it in front of our entire team for underwriting and proper disposition. Okay. So if you go to our site and you click on that link, you just fill out the information. The more information you can provide, the better. Okay. Because the more that we know about the deal, the more properly we can underwrite it. And that means that we can ensure that we're getting the most value out of a house. And we're not mismarketing a house, because if we mismarket it, it's going to backfire. Yeah. And what we do now too is we will double underwrite, not just for the ARV or valuation. We'll underwrite to make sure you have the best exit strategy picked. So things like, okay, you brought this to me, Ben, as a wholesale. I think it's better as a novation. Can our team help you restructure the deal to make it a novation? Because I think we'll make more that way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So like recently we had a deal where a guy sent the deal into us through our JV form. He brought it to us as a wholesale, and he's like, hey, this is a deal. I think we have at least a 10K spread here. I'm like, you're 100% right. Like, we check the numbers and run on the MLS. Numbers pan out. Should be a 10K spread. No doubt about it. But Mr. Wholesaler, because we look at the deal, we look at the pictures, we look at your access and the timeline this deal needs or can use, I think it'd be better if we reposition it as a novation. I think we can make more money that way. And he didn't think it was possible, but he was talking to Juan at the time, who's fronting all of our acquisitions right now. Okay. And Juan's like, no, we could totally renegotiate this thing. I can help you pitch the novation to the seller now. And we have all the paperwork already built out to build it this way. We'll open escrow and we'll handle all the crazy. Just introduce us to the seller as your partner. And so we did. Juan renegotiated it. He got a PR immediately on the current contracting of the deal. So he reduced the purchase price from where it was to where it now was for the novation. We ended up turning what was supposed to be a 10K wholesale deal into a 30K novation.
Wow.
In just a matter of a couple of minutes. And that was something that my mentor always told me too, was, never be afraid to have a price reduction, a PR conversation with a seller, or a quick renegotiation. It might take you 10, 15 minutes, but you might make, like we turned 10K into 30K.
Yeah.
That was a 30-minute conversation that made us an extra 20 grand.
Yeah.
I don't know many people that can have a conversation in 30 minutes and make 20 grand.
Exactly.
So don't be afraid to have those conversations, because the worst they'll say is no, and you're still making your first 10.
Yeah.
But the best is that they can renegotiate and you might make more money.
Yeah.
So that JV form is a big part, though, as to how we can better prepare for something like that. Because if you don't provide enough information, we might not have known to renegotiate it that way. People who will text me deals or DM me deals, it's okay. It's a great way to get in front of me or my team. But with how much we have going on internally, with all the deals we're servicing, all the partners we're servicing, and to be as efficient as possible so I can underwrite a deal as efficient as possible, it doesn't do me or you justice to DM me or text the me.
I see.
I probably have like 60 text messages a day hitting my phone every couple of hours.
Yeah.
It's insane. So if you text me a deal, there's a very good chance I'm going to lose it, especially if I don't have your number saved. Same thing with a DM. It gets lost in the sauce of my Facebook or Instagram. So it's great to reach out to me that way, but I'll always send the form over because it ensures accuracy. And that accuracy and that information is crucial because I want to make sure that we're serving you the best.
I see.
And the more information you share, the better I can guarantee that our services will be there.
Okay, so let's talk about the underwriting side. You said your team underwrites deals. Like, let's break down your team. Who's doing what? Because the way you're explaining it sounds like a project management nightmare. You know how to write systems and processes.
So we all underwrite, which is a beautiful thing. And we all have different philosophies on how we underwrite, but we all have one final belief, which is to obviously maximize the deal value. So Juan is my partner in acquisitions who really runs the direct to seller or direct to agent campaigns that we're trying to get the deals under contract, especially internally for our team. So like the marketing campaigns we're running with you guys, he's the one fronting those acquisition calls. He's also the best one for closing assistance, and as well as myself. When a JV partner has a lead that they haven't gotten under contract yet, they need somebody to help close the deal. They're going to call us, and either Juan or I am going to jump on the phone and we're going to get that deal closed, turn it into a cash contract, sub to whatever it is. So we have our network and our system set up that way. On the other side, we have Alex, and Alex is set up to help service and respond to all of our JV partners. He's going to, make sure that you guys are feeling like you're in touch with our community and our team 110% of the time, 24/7. We have a lot of different internal portals that we bring people into our CRM so that they're able to communicate front man with everybody on the team. And so they never feel like they're lost in the sauce or they don't know what's going on. He's also the one who's underwriting these deals. He's going to look at the numbers quick and say if they have it, it's a deal or a no deal. And if it's not a deal, why it is. And if there's a way for us to fix it, either him or he'll pitch it to me or Juan or somebody to get it fixed. And then we'll go ahead and get the deal corrected. And then we'll bring it back and say, hey, now that your deal's fixed, we'll get this thing moved. So we have that side. Then we have Jade, who's assisting on the dispositions. She's our partner in dispositions. And she's the one now who is negotiating with all of our investor or agent buyers. She'll take the deal that a JV partner that brings a deal to us. She'll doctor it up into our marketing to make sure that it looks the most presentable. And we'll put the right campaign styles together, the right marketing intellect together, and start doing all of our target ad campaigns on a deal to make sure that it's getting in front of their highest and best investors. That way, we only get the highest and best investors calling us or texting us back, to which she can then schedule those showings, discuss and negotiate the deal, and ideally get highest and best value. Teamed up with all of them, we have a couple of VAs that will assist with a lot of the administrative or marketing parameters for the overall CRM or the software we're using. But altogether, you're getting this whole warhorse and this whole warship of a team that we've been able to put together. And that is what every JV partner gets access to. That's why we get a portal for them to come into the team to be able to speak with each and every one of us, myself included, on every deal that they're working, so that they feel like they're being taken care of, they're heard, their needs are being met, and that nothing is being dropped, because that was one thing I really wanted to dial in, was that level of communication and transparency. One thing I see and hear across the board from a lot of different dispo houses is people just feel like their deal isn't being taken care of, being serviced properly, they're being lost in the wind or not prioritized.
Yeah, I've worked with a few people like that too. It kind of sucks.
It does. It's their people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
And so we treat every deal like it's our own. And so I want to make sure that when they are trusting us with their deal, with their future, with their finances, because you don't know who you're dealing with. We have JV partners, they're bringing us their very first deal ever. And those are my favorite ones because those are the life-changing moments.
Yeah.
But you have guys too that are killing it in acquisitions. And they kill it in acquisitions because they leverage us for dispo. So they have more time to just get more contracts. And so they're killing it in the acquisitions, and they just want to be able to get a deal in a contract that they know is a deal and then pass it off to us and have the trust that they're going to get a wire at the end of the month with a payday on that thing, so they can keep going and get more contracts. And that I've helped so many guys scale from doing 2 to 3 deals a month to like 10 to 15 deals a month because they put so much trust behind our team to get a deal sold that they can ramp up their acquisitions game.
I love that because they basically have outsourced in my person, I'm an acquisitions guy.
Yeah.
Or I love
Most
it.
people are.
I love, negotiating with sellers. Like, I love a marketing office. It's what I do.
Yeah.
But disposition is something that I absolutely, I try to stay out of it. I never give, if a client comes to me and asks you for like dispo advice, I just point them to somebody else. I'm like, I'm not your guy. So, I do want to ask, your team sounds like they're incredible.
They are.
They do.
Best of the best.
Right? You also have a background in technical recruiting. So I'm curious if people are doing some deals right now, right? They're probably around 2 to 3 deals per month.
Yep.
How can they build a team to facilitate way more volume than what they're doing right now? More specifically, what did you do to build your team?
Dude, people found me, and I'm very grateful for that. So just like how I built this JV stuff, and that's the hard part, because a lot of people were like, well, what did you do? I want to copy what you did. And I'm like, dude, it's a lot of God blessings and hoping that things are going to work out.
Yeah.
So like the recruiting side of things is like Juan, Jade, and Alex all found me because of just the circles we found ourselves in. But it was all because we all believed in a lot of the same things. So we had matching philosophies. And that's really where I think recruiting comes down to. So like in technical recruiting or any kind of recruiting, you want people who are marching to the beat of the same drum, because anybody who has a different belief, different values, different perspectives, they're going to create a rift in that family. And so, or the business, but I call it a family. I believe in my team is my family. Mm-hmm. And so we just hold a really strong belief of caring and loving for one another, and we want the best for one another, and we let that transpire into the people we help, and we love and care for all the people that we help. And so we want to keep that going. So, but finding good people, it's proper discernment. It's knowing what you're looking for, but then really finding just people that you want to be around and that you enjoy being around. Because if you enjoy being around them, talent is something you can, to a degree. I mean, talent is technical. You can teach it. You can find ways to cultivate it. There's always going to be people who are more talented than others, like because of different like levels of athletes. But like trust and like truth are things that you are like naturally within. Someone who's not trustworthy could be very talented.
Yeah.
But if they're not trustworthy, they can destroy your business from the inside out.
Yeah.
On the opposite, if someone's very trustworthy, then it's like the book Traction. It's about finding somebody the right seat.
Yeah.
Just because they're not talented in one domain doesn't mean that they're an untalented individual. They have a talent, it's just not being utilized correctly.
Yep.
And so we've had a lot of shifts in the team. Again, it's an incredible team of amazing people who've all started in different parts within the company, but we eventually found that good fit. And then they went from a 1 to 2x return type of atmosphere to a 10x atmosphere because we found that niche and that talent was unlocked.
So one thing you basically worded differently than what I would is basically skill versus character. Yeah, like so talent,
very much.
Your talent is like what I would consider skill.
Yeah.
Your trustworthy is what I would consider character. So my question is like, for specific roles, I'm curious, do you feel like every role is worth coaching and teaching? Or there are some roles that, let's say skill matters more, and another one where it's just like character matters more. So I'm curious what your opinion on that is.
So to me, character is everything.
Okay.
And if I can't trust you or know that you hold the right values, then I'm not going to bother to teach you the talents.
100%.
Because again, everybody that we're we're touching on it. In dispositions, we're dealing with investors, we're dealing with agents, both of which need to trust the wholesaler that they're buying the deal that they think they are, that they're looking at the same numbers, they're not being deceived, and that you're saying as the wholesaler, you're doing what you're promising to do, because a lot of wholesalers too will get people locked into contracts, or they'll get EMD into title, and then the deal's never closing, and they're being duped here and there. So you need to have trust and transparency there.
Yeah.
JV, same thing. They're trusting us with their deal, their future income, their own legacy. And so we need somebody who's speaking to these JV partners that also can be trusted, who believed in and has that same warmth in customer service atmosphere, so that they feel like they're being cared for and not misled or tricked. Because a lot of people too in the JV space get worried about sharing deals, because they're like, well, what if that big conglomerate company just takes the data and then goes to the seller and says, hey, this guy's a wholesaler, work with us instead, cuts me out of the deal. I've seen it happen. And then acquisitions too, like being truthful and transparent to these sellers or these agents on the direct side when you're getting the contract. The more that they trust you and they like you and rapport, they will more likely work with you, even if somebody with more sales talent comes along, but they don't trust them, because then they just feel like they're being sold. So character is a big deal for me across the board, because I believe that if you are just genuinely a good person, you can do the right things. Sometimes doing the right thing out of character has more of an impact by just solving the problem with like an equation.
Yeah.
Because we're all people. We're all emotional animals. We're all looking to just get help or find a solution.
Yeah.
And sometimes people just want to be heard. And so character plays a big part in that.
Yep.
You can say all the right things and come up with the right numbers.
Yeah.
But if they don't trust you, they aren't going to work with you. I've had plenty of deals where people have taken our offer and we're less than the competitor, but they just like and trust us more.
Yep. Because these people care more about getting the deal done than sometimes trying to get the most amount of money. It's like everybody has their own opinion, because it's like if I know I can work with somebody and I don't have to sit and babysit and manage them all day.
Right.
And I get a little bit less than trying to take a bet on this guy.
Always, dude.
It's just like, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
When you're starting out, you need to sort of experience both to know what good looks like.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, it's hard to hire a plus sales manager if you don't even know what a good closer looks like. Right.
Huge difference.
Yeah. And we could talk about that too. It's like, should you promote your top closer into a sales manager? I mean, there's many opinions on that, but recently, obviously, when we started working together, you guys have, or I guess before we started working together, you guys decided to add on a direct-to-seller component, an acquisitions component to your wholesaling business. I'm curious why you guys decided to do that.
Really just to diversify our business. So everything we've done up until this point has been joint venture dispositions, which is servicing wholesalers or even agents who have deals and getting them closed with maximum efficiency. But the thing is, with that model, and it's a phenomenal model, there's no control of the front end, essentially. I mean, you have control over the fact that you're creating great relationships with JV partners, but you don't have full control over the deal necessarily. So I wanted to open up an avenue where we were also controlling the acquisitions of our own deals. It also ensures that we get better spreads, because now we're controlling the entire spread of the deal versus having to split the deal at the back end. So it was a way for us to grow our overall revenue goals, because that we have control over 100% of the revenue of the deal. And it was just a way for us to get more of a way of hedging. If the JV market was ever fluctuating for whatever reason, we at least have something consistent or a stability to work off of that is the acquisition of our own deals.
100%. So for you guys, why? Because obviously there's a bunch of other marketing channels out there, direct to seller marketing channels out there. I'm curious, why did you guys decide to choose PPC for your guys' direct to seller? And obviously, why did you guys decide to work with us specifically?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've worked with a couple of different models of acquisitions. We did cold calling for a little bit. We had a VA team that was calling on leads, which was working pretty well. But some laws changed too in the calling arena. So we were starting to get seeing those systems get bogged down a bit. And PPC has been something that I've always wanted to invest more into and experience more into. And so it also is a great model when it comes to the focus of branding. And branding has always been really big for me. That's why character is so big for me. That's why trust and transparency is so big for me, because that's the brand that I continue to promote to everybody that we work with, from direct to seller all the way down to the investors on the dispo side. So PPC is another great way for us to create branding in a positive way, impacting sellers. And so that's what really led me into that model. In addition, it's the least kind of like, you think of the triangle of, like you said, talent or like time, money, and then there's one more. I'm trying to remember them all. Money, time, and effort.
Oh yeah,
money, time, and effort. Yeah. Or skill. Because like people are like, well, you can spend more money, but then you're gonna have to it's because you have less time and you have less time to try.
Yeah.
So you spend more money. So you do like the VA or PPC. If you have a lot of time and no money, you go do door knocking. So PPC though was the most advantageous because it didn't require us to have a lot of like babysitting over it. Because the VAs, you'd have to keep training, you'd have to keep checking quality control.
Yeah.
And for VAs, I think what we found was like 1 out of every 30 or 40 ended up being a deal. Mm-hmm. And from a lot of our friends doing the industry with PPC, a lot of the time it was anywhere between like every 10 to 20. So we can cut that margin in half. So we started working into looking at different avenues of PPC, because I was like, if we could turn our deal ratio from 30 to 40 gets us to a contract to 10 to 20 gets us a contract, that's one more contract per set of 40. At the very least, or 4 more every set of 10. Yeah. So we could be doubling, if not quadrupling, our overall turnaround. And the spend wasn't too much more. I think it was maybe 2 to 2.5 more than what we were paying on our VA side. So all in all, we would 2x our spend, but we could 4x our return. So the ratio there made sense. On the back end, too, we were already working with a lot of your current clients at the time, who were only saying really good things. And I was like, well, this is like meant to be. Yeah. And like, this is the avenue we're looking to get into. We have people we trust and work with already in the industry that are utilizing you guys. Then it's a no-brainer. Let's dive in, see what this is about. We got to meet you on the Zoom. And I was like, I really like this guy. I think he can do a lot with us for the PPC stuff. And we just kind of hit it off.
I guess just for feedback, because I'm actually curious about myself, because I want to know what I can do better. When you say something that I said on the podcast or on our call, what did I do? I'm curious.
Well, you just, and again, it's the same way that we treat our JV clients, is like, you spoke with confidence, you came forward with the numbers. There was no like watered down billing sheet of like, all these things happen and then you get billed this amount, but if these things happen, you get billed this amount. Like, you were straightforward in your numbers and you were straightforward in your results. And the other big thing too, and this goes back to the branding stuff that I like to push, is a lot of people can say something and then they do another. And so you see that all the time with gurus and people out in the industry. They're like, I'm closing XYZ deals a month and all this amount in revenue. But then you go back to them and they're like, yeah, actually, we haven't closed a deal in the last 3 months. But like, maybe they used to close that many deals per month. But the thing with you is that it was all adding up, right? So you would say, hey, these are the amount of leads you could expect. This is about the range of cost, and this is what you can anticipate moving forward. And then we would talk to somebody that is already a client of yours, and they were like, yeah, this is what I'm spending right now. This is what we're seeing, and this is what we're seeing moving forward. I'm like, all right, like, it's A/B every single time. So that consistency and congruency was what really led to it.
I appreciate that. Because obviously I want to know like what is working and what I need to do more of. Because at the end of the day, I believe that everybody has room to grow.
Always.
So for me, I just took that as feedback. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Of course.
For people that are, let's say, because there are 2 specific avatars that my audience comes down to. It's mostly a wholesaler that is starting out. They are maybe closing 1 deal a month, 1 deal every other month,
right,
probably through cold calling or text blasting. There's probably another person that's doing around 3 to 5 deals per month. Mm-hmm. They're maybe doing PPC or they're just scaling their cold calling. Mm-hmm. And the other guy is probably just a dispo house, right? So I want to talk to all 3 of these people. For these 3 different people, when should they consider adding on PPC, in your opinion?
So, I mean, as far as like new wholesalers, so going like kind of in the growth pattern that you said.
Yeah.
Brand new wholesaler, I don't believe should invest in PPC. I think the cost is too high.
Yep.
And I mean, from my experience, like, I was spending money on a lot of stupid stuff, but there's a lot to already spend your money on that probably could get you better results quicker. That's something I've helped with a lot of people too. I mean, I helped a girl get her first deal by her just using an Excel sheet and Google Voice. So like, there's a lot of different methods out there. I don't think it's a great way to start, but if you have, I guess if you're a new wholesaler though, and you have the money and you don't have the time, and you could put somebody to this workhorse with you at the same time who's new and has time to catch, then you're good. Yeah. That's the big issue if you start too early with PPC or even a VA team calling deals. Is like you're getting a lot of leads, but if you don't have the time to call those leads, then there's no point. You're just spinning your tires. So new, I wouldn't suggest.
Yeah, I would not suggest it either, because it's like you can give somebody the leads, but like now they don't know how to work the leads.
They don't know how to, or they don't have the experience to convert them.
Exactly.
So that's a huge issue too. So if you're gonna do something like you're new and you want to really get into PPC because it's killing you tonight,
slow down.
Then slow down or partner with somebody who has experience and be like, hey, I'm gonna pay for this campaign, but I'm gonna have the leads go to you because you know what you're doing. And I would just like to learn from you as you close the leads I'm generating. Which I've seen people do that. So that's an option, but I don't recommend it. There's plenty of better ways when you're starting off. For the guys doing 3 to 5, that's gonna be a conversation with yourself. If you're by yourself or you have a partner, then it's a little bit easier. But if you're by yourself solo opting 3 to 5 deals a month, PPC could generate for you 2x that at the very least, depending on what your budget is. You need to make sure you have the systems in place, the discipline in place, and the proper procedures in place to catch that extra deal flow. Otherwise, again, you're spending money for no reason and not getting anywhere. So someone in the 3 to 5 bracket, I think it's a great way to grow your acquisitions. But then you have to switch into, okay, I'm no longer solo entrepreneur kind of mindset. I need to move into, I'm building a business mindset. Should I bring on a lead manager? Should I bring on a junior act person to help me catch this stuff so that it doesn't fall through the cracks? Because the last thing you want to do on any type of campaigning, PPC or the like, is spend a ton of money for leads and then do nothing with them. So, and making sure you're always polishing your conversion skills, right? So you're getting more leads. They might be a different lead type than you're used to. Make sure you know how to have those conversations. But I think the 3 to 5 bracket, it's a great way to start expansion if you're ready for it. So just having that professional conversation with yourself first of like, hey, am I ready to take this jump? I think it's a great investment, a great way to start growing your business. Just make sure you're prepared for it. So, and then the dispo house model is if you have the bandwidth to build an acquisition arm, or you're going to bring in a partner to build an acquisition arm or what have you, then it's a great avenue because the barrier to entry into acquisitions in that sense is very low, where you could spend money to generate leads. You just need to make sure you have the time and the talent of somebody or yourself to do those things. So either you're pulling yourself out of dispo to take over AC and build your own AC wing, in which case you need to hire to have somebody control your dispo side, or vice versa, you are going to be staying in disposition, so you need to build out your acquisitions side with talent to capture that lead flow.
I see.
So I think both the middle tier and then the dispo model going into acquisitions are great areas to do it if your dispo house is also producing enough income to cover the cost.
100%.
That it's not going to overspend if your dispo spend is already high.
Then
it's a great way to get into acquisitions. You just need to make sure you have somebody there to catch the leads. 100%. That's the biggest thing.
100%. And I couldn't agree with you more, right? Because when I started out, I didn't know any better, and I brought on beginner wholesalers. I quickly found out that, hey, I can generate all the leads in the world, but if somebody can't close an open door, it really sucks for the both of us.
It does. And that's when you get bad reviews and they're blaming you for stuff. And it's like, it's not a lead problem. It's you just don't know how to do it.
Ask me how I know.
Right. And that's the same thing. I mean, we'll get that with JV partners that are newer to the business too. They're like, I thought this was a sellable deal. I was like, well, we told you XYZ. It wasn't maybe going to work. It's kind of tight. And it came to be true. Nobody's fault. It's just what the industry told us.
What's hard is that I don't want to call these people stubborn. It's just they don't know any better. And
well, you don't know what you don't know.
One thing I do love is how I don't know if attached is the right word, but how certain they are that if we do some magic pill, it will work.
Yes.
Like it's funny to me. But again, I've been through that. I've been in that dispo partner or that JV client where I'm like, dude, like
this is so a deal. I know it's a deal.
It's a deal, dude. You just throw something together.
Are you saying these things? Like, of course we're saying these things. Like it's just not working.
So you guys have an acquisitions department right now in the business that we run the marketing for. What is your guys' process? So I submit a lead to you guys, or our campaign submit a lead to you guys. Walk us through that process. So my question is, how do you guys succeed with PPC? What's your PPC process?
So I wish Juan was here to kind of talk deeper on it, but I'd have a really good idea of how we've built it out so far. Is the PPC campaigns are running on a day-to-day basis. As the campaign runs and generates interest, that interest obviously turns into a lead. That lead gets put into our CRM.
Yep.
When it hits the CRM, depending on what time of day and what day of the week it is, because there's certain like laws behind when somebody can be called technically, either an AI bot will actually respond to them via SMS or through a phone call. Or if Juan is available, and hopefully eventually as we grow the team out, acquisition-wise, somebody on the team is just available to take that call, they will be reaching out to that lead almost immediately. If somebody doesn't respond fast enough, that's when the AI agent comes involved. Because the whole thing with PPC leads is like it's speed to lead. You want to make sure you're capturing the attention and the intention that went behind them filling out that form. And so the AI bot or Juan or whoever would be then reaching out to the lead to capture that interest, verify that interest, and then take that interest into an actual solution and get to a contract. So after that lead hits our database, that conversation is had. I mean, the AI bot's not going to close them, so it'll just identify it, and then it'll notify somebody like Juan and say, hey, this is a lead, or at least it verified on these points, you should reach out now. He'll reach out and close them, walk through our process, walk through all of our strategies. If cash doesn't work, we go into creative solutions. If creative solutions or cash doesn't work, we'll run into an innovation solution. Like whatever it is, we've built our war chest to be able to have multiple exit strategies so that we can service those people the best. And having multiple exit strategies is a huge advantage because you never know what type of like client you're receiving.
Do you recommend that starting out?
Definitely not.
Okay.
So then that goes all the way back to partnering with the right people. And so a really good friend of mine, RJ Bates, with the titanium community, pushes this concept called hedgehog concept, which is just a hedgehog is really good at doing like one thing. So you should focus in on being really good at doing one thing. And that one thing is just go after cash deals. And if it goes outside of that scope, find and partner with somebody who knows that wheelhouse and let them handle the process.
I see.
And you just tag along as a partner on the process. You could learn from it, but don't let it deviate you.
Yeah.
Because that deviation is what gets you off your rails, and then it takes you just as long to get back into a flow again.
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of people will do. They start doing cash, and they're like, oh, this thing sub 2 sounds so cool. I'm going to start learning sub 2. Now you get really confused on which one's which. And then you're trying to generate sub 2 leads and cash leads were 2 different animals and 2 different like clients come to your seller side. Yes. You get really lost in the sauce. So like if you don't master one, then you're mediocre at both.
Yeah.
And you're not actually solving problems at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So yes, having all those tools in our tool belt is huge for people who are getting leads and they don't know which way to go with them. If cash isn't working, partner with somebody who does. Yeah. And let them help you get through that because it might still be a lead. It's just not a lead that you know how to close, but somebody does.
Yeah.
And then going back to our process, once it gets to convert to that contract and it's already been underwritten, it's been approved within the system, is then when we push it to the disposition side. So then it goes to transaction management, and then transaction management, that's when Jade and the VA will look at the deal, take all the information, make sure that it's correct. And then they'll build out the marketing packets that go out to our investors and start communicating with our highest and best investors. Obviously, in the middle there, we're opening escrow, working with our title companies to make sure that title is clear, the debts are true and understood, and make sure everything else pencils out on the legal side of the deal.
Yeah.
Because we've had a couple times where we start working on a deal and the seller told us that they owe $280,000 and then we get the statements back and the payoff's $310,000. I'm like, well, now our numbers don't work.
Yeah.
So like we try to get ahead of that as best as we can. Yeah. Because we always want to move forward again with that trust and transparency. And we tell people all the time, I heard Juan actually saying this on a call, I think it was yesterday, for a seller, is like, look, I'm never going to give you a guarantee. Like, I'm not going to say, I guarantee you these things. Because like, there's no guarantees, especially in real estate.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to get you all the best results that you can base your like next steps on. And we're going to do everything in our power to get that information for you so that at the very least, you are well informed as to why it didn't work as much as it did work. If somebody is pushing on the fact of guarantees, that's where the difficulty comes into play. Mm-hmm. So we never want to promise or guarantee, but we want to move forward with transparency and competence.
I love that. You mentioned the goal eventually is to hire more people.
100%.
So obviously we're hiring people to make more money. So revenue-wise, team-wise, what is the goal there?
So it is more money, but it is also just to help more people. We are continuously growing and seeing a huge influx of people wanting us to help them get their deals sold And I want to continue to deliver the same quality that we're delivering to the first 10 people I ever helped, all the way to the next 100 and some people we help. I don't want that quality to diminish.
Yeah.
And so we need more people to be able to help more people on JV. We need more people to be able to help more people on the direct to seller side. And we need more people to help more people on the investor side, so that everybody is receiving that same level of service and quality that they come to expect and learn from over these last couple of years. The revenue goals at the same time are to be doubling, if not tripling, our overall revenues that we continue to see, getting from just simpler like $1 million years to actually doing multiple millions of dollars each year, and having those hundreds, $200,000, $300,000 months consistently and consecutively that we can actually count on. Because there's no guarantees in this business. Doesn't matter what you have the most perfect wholesale deal ever, and it can blow up at the very end.
Oh yeah.
So that's why we bake in a lot of volume.
Yeah.
But we want to also have a consistency that we can count on. And that growth of people is a huge part of that, because there's no way that I myself could do this by myself. There's no way that my team, even though they are incredibly talented and amazing people, we're eventually going to be overwhelmed. And so I've always heard too, the best time to hire is when you don't think you need it, because the worst time to hire is when you realize you need it, and now it's too late. And a lot of people hire when it's too late. Yeah. And it's not impossible, but you're going to be hitting your head against the wall when you didn't have to be. And that's true with a lot of parts of business, but hiring is in particular.
100%. Okay. Final words for somebody starting out, somebody watching this, that you wish you knew when you first started.
Final words would go back to one of the things I said at the very beginning, which was to get out of your own way, to not be the enemy of you or your business or your family's future by standing in front of yourself, trying to do this thing by yourself, or thinking that by spending a little bit more money on this tool or this thing or this coaching program is going to be the solution you need to get ahead of this industry. Go out and meet somebody genuine who wants to see you win too, and just partner with them, work alongside them. You will accomplish far more together than you ever will an army of one.
Awesome. Anything else you want to, final closing thoughts? Anything?
I mean, there's so many people I'm just grateful for, but my team in particular, I'm just grateful for. Like, is that family that we've created, that atmosphere we've created. Alex, Juan, Jade, all of them have really built something incredible here with me, and I'm grateful for that. And so I'm excited to just impact more people that way. And then again, at the very beginning, my wife, if she did not support me like she did, wouldn't even be here today.
That's amazing. That's one thing I love about real estate, because it's such a hard and long road. And because for me, obviously I'm not married, right? I had to like motivate myself.
Yeah.
To push through. But having somebody outside motivate you and keep you going is amazing.
Yeah, really. So just surround yourself with good people at the very least.
Yeah, cut off the bad people. There's some nasty people in the space.
Always.
That do very shady things.
Always in excess too.
Yeah.
So for every like one good person, there's probably 10 bad, unfortunately. But
100%.
You got to keep being the good.
If somebody wants to reach out and JV deals with you guys, what's the website that people can do?
So the best website is FazioRealEstateSolutions.com/dispo with Fazio.
Okay.
But you can also find any of us on social media too. So you can find me. I'm Niccolo.Fazio on Instagram. I'm Niccolo Fazio on Facebook. You have Juan Padilla, Jade Vaughn, Alex Trefny. Any of us, you can DM us or just reach out. Come meet us at events. We're looking to host some big events coming into 2026, trying to really grow community.
Oh.
So, I mean, we have a lot of big things planned. 2026 is going to be the year of media for us.
Yeah.
And so I'm
we'll
excited
to talk
that.
about that for sure.
Oh, heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, but just find us. We're all over the place.
Okay.
But the website's the best.
And you guys are based in Dallas. Like, which part of it? Because people say they're from Frisco.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so where specifically would you guys be hosting events? That way,
DFW. Yeah. So Dallas, Texas, more so like Plano, Frisco. I live up in Prosper, which is just north of Frisco. Okay. And then Jade is over in Fort Worth. But we're going to be doing stuff in Dallas. We'll do stuff in the city of Fort Worth. Okay. And then as it grows, I see us getting into other metroplexes within Texas. So like Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and probably further than that. Because, I mean, Juan lives out in South Carolina. So, I mean, we'll get across the states in no time.
Yeah, I don't know many wholesalers here in Austin, actually.
There's not many. Yeah. I would say the ratio of deals, we have like 65 deals in our pipeline right now.
Yeah.
probably 1 or 2 of them are in Austin.
Really?
Yeah. So the ratio is significantly lower.
I don't think I've had many clients do deals in Austin.
No.
From what I see.
Few and far between.
Yeah.
And it's just, the market's just a lot. It's like all over the place.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of consistency in it.
Yeah.
Whereas Dallas has so much job growth still, like exponentially. They're putting so much money into it. It's easy to predict.
They're doing that, like New York Times Square, not Times Square. What do you call it? The stock market.
Yes.
Yeah.
The exchange.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity. Austin, I'm sure, will happen eventually.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it had its rise, but it had its rise in just overall, I think, interest, because we had a huge tech boom here with those corporations.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't consistent growth after that.
100%. So, with that said, that's all we have for this one, guys. If you do want to do deals and make money and have Fazio's team, Niccolo's team. I call you by your last name.
That's okay. Everyone knows me by Fazio.
Yeah, so we have this funny thing where we always call our clients by their last names, because it's either we call them by their last names or we call them by their company name. For example, like Brett. Brett's not Brett. Brett's Amplify. You know what I mean? Or like Crump is like we call Chris Crump is Crump. Yeah. But anyways, that's all we got for this one, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, comment, as well as subscribe. Any questions, reach out to Niccolo, reach out to his team. We'll plug all their social media below, as well as their JV form. That way you guys can submit deals and obviously make money together. That's all I got for this one, man. I really enjoyed having you out here.
Yeah, man, it's been
super
great.
Fun. But yeah, that's all we have for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.